Trump, I don't want to go through another 4 years of his Make America Great Again, because America was not great. I don't want to go through another 4 years of Biden being indecisive as to what he's going to do.
African Americans are a key voting bloc that the Biden campaign cannot afford to alienate, and the Trump campaign is working hard to penetrate. How's it working out for both of them so far? Well, in focus groups with 14 North Carolina voters who are displeased with both candidates, we found clear concern about Biden's age combined with a loathing for Trump. We started with a word association exercise where I cited a person's name and asked for the first word or phrase that came to mind. Here's their response to President Biden.
Old.
Fragile.
Martin?
Old. Incompetent.
Swacking.
Right?
I'm good.
Career politician.
Old.
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 Slow.
Failure.
Old.
And here's their top of mind reaction to former President Trump.
Grifter.
Disgusted.
Powerful.
Crazy.
Rich.
Powerful.
I'm good on him too.
Divisive.
Crooked.
Racist.
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 Crazy.
Incompetent.
In a head-to-head matchup, only one respondent would take Trump. But when given a choice of these 5 candidates, a chunk of Biden's support migrated elsewhere, as you see on the screen. Additionally, among the 14, 3 indicated they may not vote at all. This next exchange with Shalia was illuminating. Shalia, tell me why you would consider not voting.
Just because I just feel like, not that my vote doesn't matter, but for me personally, I feel like in good faith for myself that it don't matter because I'm not going to be satisfied with either one.
Okay, so hold on a second. So let me just unpack that. So it doesn't matter, or you're not going to be satisfied. What's the bigger thought going through your head?
I'm not going to be satisfied.
Okay, what does that mean to you? You're not going to be satisfied. Are you just uncomfortable with the idea of voting for somebody that you're not enthusiastic about?
No, I voted for Biden. I was enthusiastic about him before. So that's why I'm choosing not to do it again enthusiastically.
Okay. So
For a fact, I'm not voting for Trump. So if I don't want to vote for Biden either, then my choice is to not vote.
So help me through this thought process. How do you choose between Biden or just not voting?
I can do a third party, but that to me is a waste of a vote too. So I just rather just not vote.
Okay, but I understand you don't want to do a third party, but it sounds to me like you're choosing between voting for someone or not voting at all. How do you make up your mind in between Biden and no one?
Because I don't know what's going to happen between then. Somebody could be in jail for all we know. So I don't know what November is actually going to look like for me. I don't know if policy is going to go. I don't know if my student loan forgiveness is going to take. I don't know what's going to happen before then. But as of now, I have no preference. If we voted today, I probably wouldn't vote.
Okay, hold on a second. So if President Biden comes through with student loan forgiveness, you might vote for him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so literally it's that kind of thought process.
Yes, because as of now, it's nothing. He's not doing nothing for me personally to where I feel like I want to give him my vote again. So it will have to be something that's done in between there to move me to show up to the polls for him.
Compared to monthly focus groups we conduct with Trump to Biden swing voters in key swing states, where most of the respondents cannot name a single Biden achievement while in office, most of these focus group respondents in North Carolina can name at least one Biden presidential achievement. Off the tops of their heads, they mentioned a wide variety of items, including student loan forgiveness, job creation, getting things on track after the pandemic, and many others. The challenge for the president, though, is that when the White House enumerates all that he has done for the African American community, it does not match their reality. To drive home this point, let me show you some text from the White House website, which I read out loud during the focus groups. It clearly lists a wide variety of items, but when I asked their reactions to this text, we found a chasm. By a show of fingers, who thinks this paragraph that I just read to you, this text, accurately reflects what's actually going on in the African American community during President Biden's time in office? None of you.
Felt like a lot of fluff, like
Mhm.
exaggeration. You know, we may have done this little bit here, but let's say we did this, let's make it look grand. It just felt like a lot of fluff, just a lot of, it was a lot of words, and I haven't seen that much action.
I feel like the voting rights piece isn't necessarily accurate, especially when lots of states are slashing voting rights. So I don't feel like that is actually true about the voting rights.
I think, it's grasping for straws.
Okay.
Things are bad. People are hurting. Being able to put food on your table, to live in a decent home. I mean, I am in that real estate area. People can't afford homes because the interest rate is high. And they definitely can't afford down payments. Who can afford 20% down payment? You buy a house for $400,000, $500,000. Who's got $100 grand?
Okay.
So that's just all rhetoric.
I want to see exactly what the initiatives or the programs were, because a lot of the things that they say are for Blacks and for everybody, but they'll just say it's for Blacks in the beginning, but it's literally for everybody. So it doesn't, it doesn't really directly affect us. It's just like, oh, Black. So it's like, oh, that sounds good, but anyone can get it.
With former President Trump, his challenge is that his attempts to appeal to African Americans backfire and reinforce their view that he is a racist. In fact, 9 of the 14 think Trump is a racist. After we showed snippets from a speech he gave recently to a group of conservative African Americans, where he talked about being indicted on their behalf and suggesting that African Americans wore t-shirts with his mugshot on it as a sign of solidarity with him, none of the 14 thought Trump understands the concerns of African Americans. In fact, they said this.
It feels like he thinks we're all criminals, that we all have mugshots, we all have friends with mugshots, so that would appeal to us. That doesn't appeal to me, and I don't think that appeals to the mass majority of Black people. But if that's what he thinks that we are and are all about, that definitely means he misses the mark.
I don't think that he takes Black people seriously. I do feel like low key we're actually laughing at him by buying those T-shirts and wearing them.
I mean, that's probably one of the most racist comments he's ever made. His feeling that because he's being indicted and because he's being prosecuted for things he did, whether they're deemed illegal or not in a court of law, he's making, so what, we've all been locked up, we all have a mugshot, we all fall into this bucket of indictment, and because of that, we should feel closer to our overly indicted president.
It's like an insult. It's like, are you serious? That's what you think of us?
I just think it's very insensitive and kind of insulting to say that, or to imply that, I'm a criminal, so now the Black people can relate to me, or I can relate to them.
Among these voters, there was not a lot of warmth toward Vice President Harris. In fact, only 2 of the respondents said they'd like to see her be president someday. That's in contrast to 8 who said they'd like to see Hakeem Jeffries be president someday. Here's the first thing that came to mind when I asked them about Vice President Harris.
Where is she?
Over her head.
Not enough experience. No experience.
She talks a good game. That's about it.
I hope she's working, but she's in the background and we can't see it.
She's inexperienced. She's like, just like, as they say, she's a token. He wanted to get the Black vote.
We don't know what she's doing.
They just put her there just to fool the Black people.
Inauthentic.
Submissive.
Puppet.
Invisible.
The feds.
Absent.
One thing that's consistent, month after month, across all of our voter groups with key voters in swing states, are worries about the economy. In these 2 sessions, 10 of 14 respondents said the economy is in lousy shape. Here's the evidence they see. Kelly, in what ways is the economy in lousy shape?
Inflation.
Definitely inflation and just everybody's going through a housing crisis right now. So that's like the biggest indicator for me that nobody can afford rent.
Based off the definition, because economy has to do with wealth and resources, being that I am a Black woman and we do not have as many wealth and resources, speaking about like pay gaps and things like that, I feel like it's going to be lousy for anyone in my position.
Dorothy, what about you?
Inflation,
So I look at it and say, I'm sure the numbers are statistically accurate, but they haven't been statistically significant. If it was a significant change in those areas, then it would be obvious. We could all see it and we could feel it in our day-to-day lives. We would know people who were able to get a house that's been struggling to get a house, and we would have seen people change their state from living, check to check to doing better. And I know the minimum wage probably did a lot for some people, but in a lot of areas, especially in areas where interest rates are super high and housing is super expensive, even raising minimum wage did not pull people out of poverty.
Thanks for watching again this month. Please forward this clip to a friend, and please join us again next month.